the flagship outcome of the inaugural Africa Climate Summit and the Nairobi Declaration called for international support in addressing the links between low climate resilience and our country's sovereign debt burden, and the need for a global financial system that empowers economies to pursue inclusive economic transformation and climate action simultaneously. It is encouraging that we have gathered here to affirm our recognition that the fight against hunger demands committed collective action on an ambitious scale. This is important and indeed a historic consensus, but only the first step on the road to a world without hunger. Our journey will require boldness and collaboration, and that's why I commend international organizations like UNIDO and FAO for their instrumental roles in fostering sustainable food systems and in promoting greater awareness among different stakeholders. It is time for us to deploy the power of our partnerships beyond policymaking to securing substantial commitment in pursuit of tangible actions, like we have seen in Ethiopia. It hasn't happened by chance. It is deliberate, it is intentional, it is well thought out. Expanding irrigation systems to support our agricultural productivity, especially in the context of unpredictable weather. Making sure that there is adequate water storage in dams, in ponds, and in other systems. Ensuring that there is adequate infrastructure to support post-harvest management of produce. Ensuring that there is adequate and appropriate infrastructure to support agro-processing and value addition, not only enhances and increases returns to farmers, but also reduces post-harvest losses, as I have stated earlier. On our idealistic aspiration, it must be anchored on clearly defined, measurable goals and complemented by a determination to track the progress of implementation in order to usher all our brothers and sisters and children to a world where no one goes hungry. Kenya stands ready in full support of this noble global mission. And I want to thank Prime Minister Abiy for convening us, and also to thank the Africa Union for being a partner to this very important endeavor as we seek, as a continent, to provide solutions for the challenges that face our continent, because indeed we can. And a world without hunger is surely possible.
Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, for those inspiring messages of encouragement.
We continue to have an unfair share of instability, insecurity, and challenges in our continent, whether it is terrorism, conflict, that is affecting our continent, and by extension, affecting trade, affecting investment, and doesn't give a very good picture of where we are. A case in point, yesterday I was in Juba to encourage our brothers in that country when they gave me an assignment to get the opposition to work with the government. I was very happy that we had a breakthrough yesterday. We are concluding the mediation there. Next week, we have the civilian groups meeting in Nairobi from our neighbors in Sudan to see what they can do about their country. Last week, we were in Bujumbura at a COMESA meeting to discuss how, whether as we do trade, how do we manage the issues in the Great Lakes region. We have issues in Sahel. We have issues in the Horn of Africa. So our peace and security infrastructure requires a rethink. We cannot continue the way we are continuing. I think the days of, the 20,000 AU peacekeeping force are slowly fading away. And we need, as Africa, to begin to take charge of our peace support mechanisms in our continent. I was very happy that last December, the UN resolution that now peacekeeping efforts led by AU will be funded by assessed contributions by the United Nations. That gives us more leverage. But the AU has to be better prepared to undertake this responsibility. There is certainly a very big case for us to make in reorganizing the AU Peace and Security Council, including the Peace Fund, and make it much more sustainable, and see how we can have greater say in the stability of our continent, because it is necessary for us if we have to attract investment and if we have to do trade. We have to stabilize, and there must be peace and security. In Kenya, agriculture remains a vital foundation of our economic growth and development. The sector contributes all the way to 30% to our GDP, account for 7% of our manufacturing, and contributes about 80% of employment of rural populations. The National Long-Term Economic Development Blueprint, our Vision 2030, recognizes the significant enhancement of agricultural productivity and agro-based industrialization to be critical drivers of sustainable growth. The work of actualizing this ambition is underway through initiatives that support farmers to access high quality and appropriate inputs. We have been able to increase productivity for 2 successive years. Just in the last 2 years, we have registered about 5.6 million farmers. And through an e-voucher system, we are distributing fertilizer, making it much more transparent, much more efficient, and much more targeted. And we have seen results of making sure that farmers have access to the correct inputs and correct seeds and appropriate quantities of fertilizers. Further, crops and livestock insurance programs are showing promising results by enabling farmers to stay productive in the face of risk and uncertainty, especially on matters climate. Additionally, the government doubled investment in our homegrown school feeding program to $30 million in 2023, enhancing its capacity to provide school meals and keep vulnerable children in school, and at the same time support local food systems in the communities around our schools. It is now well known globally. Kenya continues to champion radical reforms to the institutional architecture of the global financial system in order to promote fairness and inclusivity, both in representation and decision-making, as well as in providing resources that can be sustainably invested to address Africa's unique challenges. This gathering is important because it mobilizes us to reflect about the state of our shared responsibility and commitment to guaranteeing universal access to safe, sufficient, and nutritious food. The 2024 State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World Report states that in 2023, last year, 730 million people in the world faced hunger. In Africa, the situation was even more grave, with 1 in every 5 Africans affected. The report further revealed that over 2.8 billion people globally cannot afford a healthy diet. And the severity of hunger is classified as alarming in many countries, including Burundi, Chad, Madagascar, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen. Let us bear in mind that beyond food insecurity, hunger represents a condition of profound poverty of well-being, health, as well as freedom, opportunity, and dignity. It is time to attend to the need to maximize the potential of our agricultural and food systems to feed the world's population as a matter of urgency. One fact stands out on the scope of work that must be undertaken. 1/3 of all food produced for humanity's consumption is lost or wasted, particularly at the post-harvest phase. And this is due to insufficient infrastructure, technology, and local capacity. This loss translates to about 1.3 billion tons annually and costs the world about $1 trillion and represents a significant component of our total food deficit. The stark condition of the global food security situation demonstrates that we are considerably off track and, without a radical strategic turnaround, are unlikely to meet the second sustainable development goal, that is zero hunger. The only way out of this tragic failure requires us to undertake bold and ambitious collective actions in tackling the root causes of hunger. We must develop agricultural communities and systems that meet the unique needs of our diverse requirements. We must invest aggressively to expand sustainable production in all value chains that constitute our food systems and prioritize strategies aimed at building resilient food systems.